I have not, I have avoided actually the opportunity to say something about the presidency. Pero yung inaatake ka, tapos with the statement of Pacquiao, that triple, double ang corruption.
So as we went around the provinces, Mr. President, we heard, we listened to the messages of support for you and your administration. We have collected and filed these manifestos of support from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao by PDP Laban members and non-members who wanted to express their unity and full support in your steadfast leadership as they recognize the gains you have made in the battle against drugs, terrorism, armed conflict, corruption, and poverty. Moreover, Mr. President, during our visits, we heard a huge clamor from various regions of the country, from the provinces down the barangays, represented by their signatures on these documents. They are all here, Mr. President, some of them. They have all the details, the name and the telephone number for verification, for you to continue your agenda of change, and for the government to continue with its 10-point socio-economic agenda, to continue what has been established for the past 5 years. The people on the ground, Mr. President, wanted a transition of leadership that will guarantee continuity of the economic and infrastructure projects established under the Duterte administration. These petitions and resolutions coming from various local governments from the islands of Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, representing PDP Laban members and members of other political parties, are now presented here to urge and convince you, Mr. President, to run for Vice President and to choose your running mate for President in 2022 national elections. These documents that were submitted to us here are signatures of more than 500 voters in Central Luzon, those that are not bonded, supporting the petition for you to run for Vice President in the 2022 national election. Each page contains the signatures of 40 voters with their individual mobile numbers, Mr. President. The party leaders and members of the National Council in its meeting in Cebu City recognized its immense clamor from their constituents, Mr. President, that these petitions were formalized in one document, National Council Resolution Number 8, passed and adopted on May 31, 2021. Ito pong PDP Laban National Council Resolution Number 8 ay isang resolution na kinikilala ang inyong pamumuno laban sa droga, terorismo, korupsyon at kahirapan. At gusto nila na ipagpatuloy ninyo ang mga programang pang-ekonomiya at mga proyektong infrastruktura na naantala ng COVID-19 pandemic. Dahil dito, Mr. President, ang PDP Laban National Council ay nananawagan sa inyo na pakinggan at tugunan ang kahilingan ng kanilang mga nasasakupan na kayo ay tumakbo bilang Vice Presidente sa darating na halalan sa 2022. At upang makasiguro na mapapatuloy ang inyong mga nasimulan na mga polisiya at programa, lalo't higit sa droga, peace and order at economic and infrastructure projects, kakibat nito, kayo ay malayang makakapili ng inyong magiging katuwang bilang kandidato sa pagkapresidente sa susunod na halalan. Ito po lahat ay aming sinusumite sa inyo, mahal na Pangulo, para sa inyong konsiderasyon. Salamat po.
Salamat, Secretary Cusi. I am touched by the outpouring of sentiments, at least yung grupo sa PDP, urging me to run for Vice President. I remember that I made a statement a few days ago because of the incessant attacks on my person na kung anong pinagsasabi, out of the blue, lumabas yung ano ko sa utak na kung ganito lang pala na babawin ninyo ako, ano pa kaya kung yung wala na ako sa pagka-presidente. So I saw the toxic behavior displayed by some, and those who also are posturing to run for president. I have avoided actually the opportunity to say something about the presidency. Pero yung inaatake ka, tapos with the statement of Pacquiao, that triple, double ang corruption.
As we have mentioned earlier, Mr. President, the resolution for you to run for Vice President is not only of PDP, but also of all other parties, especially when we met in Cebu. So the calling for you to run for president is because of the desire of the people, not only PDP, for the transition of leadership, so that there will be a transition of leadership that will ensure para po matuloy lang yung programa na sinimulan ninyo sa paglaban sa droga, terorismo, poverty, at katahimikan po dito sa ating bayan. So, yun po ang panawagan ng PDP, at sana po, sabi nga namin, sagutin ninyo in a positive way para sa ganon matapos na pa rin yung haka-haka pangamba ng iba pong membro. Mr. President, with your permission, I would like to call on our Vice President for International Affairs, Raul Ambino, to also express the sentiments of the people when we went around to meet them.
Thank you, Secretary Kusi. Good evening, Mr. President. Magre-report po ako in my capacity as Presidential Advisor for Northern Luzon at Administrator and CEO ng Cagayan Economic Zone Authority. 2 beses po kayo napunta na po doon sa CESA, Mr. President. At sana po this year makapunta po ulit kayo dahil nagbago na po yung itsura po ng CESA. Magmula po nung huli kayo nagpunta po roon. Malapit ko na pong matapos yung pangalawang port doon sa CESA. Bago na po yung port San Vicente, natapos ko na po yon. Investment po ng CESA. Malapit ko na pong matapos yung Port Irene, 400 meters length po yung Port Irene, magiging international seaport na po yon. At magiging international container terminal at logistic hub sa Northern Luzon po yung Port Irene. Malapit ko na rin pong matapos yung 8 warehouses doon sa Port Irene. At malapit ko na rin pong matapos yung CESA Corporate Center and Commercial Center. Lahat po ito, yung pera po na kinita po ng CESA during my time, magmula po nung pinaupo po nyo ako roon for the last 4 years, ininvest ko po roon ang perang kinita po ng CESA sa improvement po ng Ecozone. At na-encourage ko po yung mga investors ng CESA. May git pong 3 billion pesos na po yung infrastructure na tinayo rin po ng mga private investors. Kahit na po panahon po ng pandemic, tuloy-tuloy po yung trabaho po roon. So, we will invite you, Mr. President, to come again to CESA and please inaugurate these infrastructure projects, maybe 3rd quarter this year. Mr. We'll send you the invitation, sir.
Yes, gladly. Yung illegal importation sa mga cars, wala na.
In-stop ko po lahat ng importation po ng cars. Ang inaalaw ko lang pong importation po ron, mga merchandise related po sa construction, build, semento, bakal, yero, construction materials po para makatulong po sa buong Northern Luzon. And in my capacity as Presidential Advisor for Northern Luzon po, umiikot po kami, kausap ang mga LGUs at saka mga line agencies of government. Ang focus po namin, Mr. President, ay yun pong economic development and social services. gusto po namin makapagtayo ng additional eco-zones doon po sa Northern Luzon. Doon po sa probinsya ng Pangasinan, meron pong pending na eco-zone po sa munisipyo po ng Binalonan. Tapos na po lahat ang papeles, nandito na po sa Office of the President for your signature, yung proclamation. Meron pa pong mga proposals na maliliit na eco-zone sa Ilocos Sur, La Union, Nueva Vizcaya, Nueva Ecija, and other provinces po sa Northern Luzon. Pagdating naman po sa politika po, Mr. President, katulad sinabi ni Secretary Cusi, yung pag-ikot po namin, napunta po kami sa probinsya ng Pangasinan, nakasama rin po ako sa Mindoro and other provinces in the Visayas. Hindi lamang po PDP laban po yung nananawagan na please consider to run for Vice President in 2022 and to choose kung sino po yung gusto po ninyong running mate to be our candidate for President. Doon po sa Pangasinan, nagkakaisa po yung mga leaders po doon ng mga different political parties in calling for you to run for Vice President in 2022 po. Hindi po rin namin mapipigilan yung mga enthusiastic leaders po sa Pangasinan at marami po silang mga inilabas pong mga tarpaulins o kaya yung mga election propaganda na nananawagan po na tumakbo po kayong Vice President sa 2022 po. At sabihin ko na rin po na kung tatakbo po kayong Vice President, unanimous po yung mga leaders po sa Pangasinan na sana po ang piliin po ninyong kandidato for President ay si Senator Bongo po. Yun po ang pinaparating po nila, Mr. President. Maraming salamat po.